internet world. I'm Johnny Pluckman with AlternativeControlCT.com, and I'm at Webster Hall in New York City, sitting here with the man, the myth, the Canadian, Devin Townsend.
Yeah.
How are you, Devin?
Good. I'm glad legend got swapped out for Canadian. That's good.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to get down to what's important. You know? We can be more specific than just legend.
Yeah, Canuck.
So thank you for taking the time to speak with me and my lovely camera operators over here.
Thank you.
I want to start out though. I did some research. I watched a couple of your interviews, and you're usually interviewed by someone with a British accent.
Really?
Yeah, well, at least what I found. And I don't have a British accent, so I'm sorry. And
Interview's over. I'll make an exception this time.
This time? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Devin's okay with me.
Our whole crew is from the UK as well. It just seems like, I don't know. It's strange how that's happened. Yeah, there's a lot of what has happened in our management's from the UK.
It's very friendly people, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So your musical career is incredibly expansive. You've done almost every genre of music on your catalog of albums. In the past 6 months, actually, you've released 4 discs that span pop rock, country, heavy metal, and musicals.
Yeah.
All within half a year. It's incredible. So, like, what kind of musician do you see yourself as?
Exhausted.
Exhausted? That's a genre?
Yeah.
Exhausted?
Apparently now. Well, you know what it is I think it's I think the level of productivity that's happened is indicative of an addictive personality that no longer drinks and smokes. But I think it's going to catch up to me. I think that it already has in some sense, because I'm bored of myself, I'm bored of my process, I'm bored of the relentless amount of effort that it's taken to articulate these ideas. My reasons for things being thematically or genre-wise, I don't know how you put that, different from each other, is more based on just literally irritation and boredom. I work on something to the exclusion of everything else, to the point where when I'm done, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that anymore. And then I like to think that my creative process is something that I still love. So I pick up the guitar, I just play guitar all the time. And you find your hands just default to different riffs. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, you've got a collection of them. And in my mind, that collection of ideas becomes indicative of that period of your life. And then with that comes certain visual things or colors or names that are also representative of that time. And then there's more. So my music, or the music, has always been more of a byproduct of a process than anything else. But now I've gotten to a point where I have released so much that I'm becoming aware that my process is more about avoidance than it is about the creative catalyst that had resulted in earlier records like Ocean Machine or Infinity. So I think that's
so it's about the not. You're trying to not do things now, whereas before you were trying to do things?
I think as of now, yeah.
So you're focusing on the negative space?
Yeah, and I really enjoy it.
That.
I really enjoy it. I think that's why Casualties meant so much to me. That's the one record I've done since Ocean Machine that I didn't have any self-imposed parameters on. It was just let it evolve and let it become what it was. And when I listen to that record, it's when people say, "Do you listen to your own stuff?" I'm like, "Well, hell no." It's when I listen to things in the past, I just hear all the drama. I hear all the emotional stuff that went along with it being a byproduct of it. But Casualties was something I just did because I really wanted to do it. And I didn't expect it to be a record. But
it's 2 records.
Yeah. Well, it's more of just the second record's a demo, collection of demos that kind of finished, right? But Casualties really explores negative space, not only in terms of the instrumentation, but also in terms of the theme. And I really like negative space. I really enjoy that side of the creative spectrum, specifically after years of things like Infinity, where there's no negative space. It's just
it's onslaught,
mountains of crap playing at the same time, right?
Yeah, like the Casualties, there's so much going on, yet it comes across as almost minimalist. There's, you know,
Yeah.
it's very mild, but there's just so much depth to it. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a country music fan. I don't like blues rock.
Cool.
And I almost skipped over that album entirely, but I've listened to it multiple times, and I really get into it. I did not expect to.
Well, you know what I would feel with blues rock, country rock. I mean, I didn't plan on it. You know, I like Johnny Cash when I was a kid, apparently. But what I said to somebody the other day, we were talking about strapping, and how much I like strapping. I'm like, so did I. I fucking love strapping. But I would hope that someone who's a fan of the heavier stuff that I've done would appreciate the fact that I'm not doing that when I want to do blues rock.
Well, I got into you because of Strappy Young Lad.
Yeah.
That's, you know, back in the early 90s, that's what you were doing. And so that's what I liked, and then I got into, you know, your individual stuff after that, so I'm exactly what you're describing.
Well, dude, and everybody is making a living, not everybody, but a vast majority of people make a living off of lying to their audience because they can sell what they think the audience will buy. So if I was just like, hey man, I just want to make a living right now, okay, well, I'll take the fact that I can put together a melody that sticks in your head and bugs the shit out of you. Oh, and heavy's still popping? Great, I'll put it over a grind beat and we're good to go. I mean, but it's ultimately it's full of shit, and how many things are full of shit? Everything's full of shit. So, you know, for me, I hope that the audience that appreciated Strapping and Lad are also the type of folks that aren't like willing to buy into that type of bullshit. So would I try and sell Casualties to something like that? Fuck no. But I would say, you gotta understand that the reason I'm doing it is because I don't want to lie to you. What do you want me to do? I put a, okay, let me think. Okay, well, you burst into a big chorus and you make it a major chord and you sing about, you know, how hard it is to survive in today's world, and in the chorus, in the verse, you scream and blah 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 and fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like, I've done it, man. You know,
there's too many people doing
There's
that.
too many people that do it, and you know what? If they think that no one can tell that it's a fiscal decision that's, you know, allowed a 65-year-old guy to still be like, fuck the world, then great. Maybe that's
He's
the
put in
case.
his time.
I talked to a friend last night who's my age, and he's like, the only thing I want to do is get up onto a microphone and tell everybody, fuck everything, and have like, and I'm like, you know, there's a beauty in the fact that people are different. You know, I certainly don't begrudge people or think that they're intellectually inferior or superior to me for feeling that way. It's just people are different.
Very true, very true. So yeah, actually kind of touching on that and going to, you know, your second album of this year, the Dark Matter.
Yeah, Z2 thing.
Z2.
Yeah.
You know, how do you keep all these separate, or these different musical ideas separate? When I write music, I'm a musician too. I try to combine all these different ideas. I want to make something weird, but you are very good about, I put these riffs over here, I put these riffs over here.
I eat my food the same way. Maybe I'm just OCD. You know, I'll eat potatoes first, and then I'll eat beans, and then I'll eat the
No, you don't just like swirl it all together.
No, can't do that. In fact, it makes me crazy, right? So.
Well, as long as there's not pickles or onions in it.
Yeah. Well, if they are, they'll go in their own pickle and onion pile. When I clean up, you know, if I have to clean up the house, the way that I do it is like, I'll walk around. If I see a magazine, I'll put it in a place, and if I see another magazine, I'll pick it up and walk it over and put it with the other magazine. And then I'll just keep going through stuff. I'll be like, oh, there's a quarter, I'll put that in the money pile. There's a string, I'll put that in the string pile. Oh, there's another magazine pile.
This is touching kind of close to home, actually.
Yeah. But then by the end of it, you've got piles of things that you put away. You know, and there's some other people I know, they can never get shit clean because they're so busy going, okay, now I'm going to put the magazine away. Now I'm going to put the string away. Now, and then by the end of it, it's like you've got a clear space and just lots of chaos. But I just find it's like, if you can just keep compartmentalizing your thoughts and your process, it's just way more efficient for me. And I do the same thing with music. It's not an intentional or conscious decision. I'm not trying to be provocative or make a point with it. It's just how I find my mind functions, right?
Very beautiful. So I want to talk to you about the Ziltoid videos that you've done. I mean, I watched the original round that you did on 2007 with the first Ziltoid album. Yeah. So you had 5 then, you have 3 now. I don't know if you're doing more. I mean, I would
way too expensive.
I was going to say, the budget is obviously through the roof this time.
Crazy, yeah.
But completely enjoyable. I love it. I love the Ziltoid website as well.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
how many websites is it like you're from the perspective of someone, and the hands move when you move the cursor, and the view moves? Like, there's a lot of creativity that could be on websites, a lot more like that.
Sure, yeah.
So, do you find that doing that aspect of it is just as much fun as writing the music, or more so, less so?
It's different. I mean, I've been doing it for so long that I just get bored. So a lot of times now I write music to illustrate things that I find creatively interesting in ways that I haven't experienced before, because I've been through the gamut emotionally and musically to the point where I'm like, well, now what? Now what? I mean, even Z2, I mean, I repeated myself in ways that I have never done before. And I think I'm just at a point where I'm like, you need to get some more experiences. You need to be able to find things to inspire you. You tour, and you write, and you do interviews, and you know, every day I wake up and there's 30 emails about me. And I mean, I'm just not interested in myself in the way that I was when I was 18. I'm 42, and I'm just like, it's that guy. So when it's Groundhog's Day, how do you keep yourself entertained? And we haven't picked a super lucrative genre, so it's not like you've got the option of like, well, I'll take a year off. I'll take a year off. And everybody still get paid, and then at the end of it, you know, I'll go do some work in a soup kitchen or something, and then I'll come back with a different perspective on myself and my humanity, and it's just not an option. So I find that a lot of the creative aspects of Ziltoid and things like that are more about just trying to keep my work, you know, the joy in it. And there's some people that are critical of the music too. They're like, well, it's not the way it was. I was like, well, no shit.
It's not the same album. It's a new album.
Well, not only that, but I'm like, I'm not the same person. And my impetus for making Ziltoid was not about, well, now I've got this burning desire to make a bunch of random arpeggios with, you know, fart jokes over top of it. It was like, I wanted to make puppets. I wanted to make puppets since I saw The Dark Crystal. And this is my opportunity to do so. Mm-hmm. And so I did. And it needs a record, so there's Ziltoid. And then the label's like, yeah, but you know, we can't spend $100 grand on this farting puppet thing unless you've got some more of the commercial stuff you do. I'm like, all right, this Sky Blue. And then halfway through Sky Blue, I was like, wow, this is really hard. I fucking made a big mistake saying this was going to be easy. So I had to find an angle, and then it was really dramatic, and blah, 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 blah. And then by the end of it, I was like, all right, lesson learned. You know, when it comes time for you to be creative again, you need to have more foresight on not only what media and what information you ingest in order to represent something that other people are going to enjoy, but also like just take it easy, man. You know, I've been going for so long, and my problem with alcohol and weed when I smoked it, other than just predisposition to mental illness, was just that I would do it and I'd be like more. It was never, I could never just, you know, have a beer and be happy. I just like more. And so now that that's out of my system, I see that that's what I was doing with records. I'm like, I want to make more records. I got to fill this void with sound and activity. And I'm getting to a point now in my age and my creative process that I'm like, well, that's indicative of you needing to fucking address that more so than to just keep chucking shit into the hole. Mm-hmm. And then thinking, well, the only thing that's going to cure this is $1 million. The only thing that's going to cure this is, you know, fancy clothes or better guitars. It's like it's just that's the Western.
It's just dressing it up.
It's bullshit. And
yeah,
so
put on a suit and tie, and it's formal.
Yeah, exactly. Just paint a turd purple and call it a grape. Right?
All right, so I got the word that we kind of got to wrap this up. We got a busy schedule. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna skip a couple questions, but I got one more that I definitely want to do. It's a little serious.
Cool.
So I hope you're okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
Last December, December 28th, 2013, I was in New Haven at Toad's Place, and War was playing that night. And I sat down with Dave Brockie that afternoon. I had a great conversation with him. And my last question to him was about you, and what it was like working with you, and his general opinion on you during the Beyond Hell period. So I kind of wanted to take this time to, I guess, read to you what he said if you haven't already read it, and then give you a chance to say something about him. So he said, oh, Heavy Devi, he's one of my favorite fucking humans. He's brilliant, prolific, and he's hilarious. He's one of the few humans motorists can hang out with and not want to choke the fucking life out of immediately. Never seen a guy work like him. Went up to Vancouver to do the vocals for Beyond Hell, and we would track all day, and then we would go back to his house where he had another studio, and we go straight downstairs, and I'd sit down there. I was sleeping on his couch. I'm not really sleeping, we're just laying, staring, masturbating.
Yeah.
That's what he does instead of sleeping. I
Totally.
explained that earlier.
Yeah.
And you were totally cool with that. You're just like, just don't spunk on the board, you know? And he'd work all fucking night, and this dude does not do drugs. He does not do drugs. Flexion is exactly how he did it. And he would work all fucking night, and maybe he'd get a couple hours of sleep, and then he'd be ready to go again. He's truly a guy that lives and breathes and loves music more than anybody I've ever met in my life. What I really appreciate, there's plenty of talented, hardworking musicians out there. Hats off to them. But what really separates Devin from me and makes him a favorite is his sense of humor. He never takes himself too seriously, and he's just like, he's got that razor fucking sharp wit. And yeah, he's a great motherfucking guy, so I've decided to let him live a little bit longer.
You know what's funny? It's like I think about death a lot. And I think that one of the greatest things about it, if you're going to look at it, is it gives value to the people and the life and the present moment, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, as soon as you say Dave, my first reaction is like, oh, Dave's dead, that sucks, right? But then at the same time, it's like, yeah, but Dave's beautiful, and he was a really good friend. And it's like, interesting when you think about it, it's like, no, you don't be sad. You'd be happy that I got that time with him. We got to spend time together, you know? And Dave is one of the most sensitive people I met, and I think that's why his art was so provocative and so grim, because he had a lot of pain in his family and a lot of history of war and you know, death and a lot of things in his family that he was trying to quantify. And I'll add one thing to this. The couch that Dave slept on in my basement, I remember my wife, she was like making the bed the next day, and she called me and she says, I don't know if I should tell you this, right, but I found something in the bed. And I'm thinking, oh God, what's this going to be? She's like, it's a teddy bear that it looks like he's had for fucking 30 years. And it's this little beat teddy bear, no eyes, totally ragged. And we didn't tell him that we found it, but I think Dave carried that wherever he went. And it had a little bow tie, it wasn't ugly, it wasn't hideous, it was an old teddy bear. And he carried it everywhere, so we just put it back underneath the bed, and then we came back and made Beyond Hell at night.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's a fucking beautiful human being, man. It's a shame that he's gone, but at the same time, it's like...
And he made more of an impact than most people who are still here with the chance.
Yeah,
so.
Dude, it's like, stand back from this point in history, and you look at the universe, you know, it doesn't even exist, you know? Yeah. So Dave is, you know, always there. Love the guy. Hey, Dave.
All right, well, we got to go, so thank you so much.
You too,
Definitely
brother.
appreciate this. I hope you did too.
Absolutely.
Let's say,
yeah.